we broke out of this area. We haven't retested this area right here, the area that we broke. Let me put that in there. This area is the area we broke. We haven't pulled back to retest this spot. Okay, with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Well, this is your boy Francis. Welcome to the Trading Success Show. What I'll be doing here today is going to be some core fundamental analysis, technical analysis on different large cap stocks that I will be watching come this week. It is very important to understand the nitty-gritty of what the stocks are bound to do, either to the upside or to the downside. It is very critical to understand all these levels because it helps you to trade cautiously with risk management in mind. You will go a long way in understanding these criteria. Okay, so it is very important not to understand or thinking about the hindsight, but to think about what the stock will do in the future. If the stock doesn't do anything based on your analysis, that is fine, but it still doesn't mean that you wouldn't put in work in understanding these criteria. If you're that kind of person who, you want to put real money in, it's up to you. But if you're that kind of person again who likes to just say, let me paper trade this strategy, then yes, you can paper trade the strategy, understand the strategy, and move on. That is how you do it, trying to understand or learning new process. You cannot be disciplined in great things and undisciplined in small things. Brave, undisciplined men have no chance against the discipline and value of other men. Have you ever seen a few policemen handle a crowd? This is from the mastery of trade from Carter, John Carter. Now, let's get into it. First and foremost, we're gonna be dealing with the market. Okay, what I'm expecting the market to do come this week, because we have so many things going on right now, and many may forget or many may put aside what is expected of the market, what the market will do. So with that being said, let's chart different levels here. What I'm looking for right now is for the market to push through this level. Okay, the 445 is decent, but we can stuff right in the 450. Okay, so that is what I'll be expecting the market to do. We're not really extended much from the 20 exponential moving average, but at the same time, bear in mind that we can pull back to this 20 exponential moving average, which is relatively the same area as our support. Okay, which is the same area as our support, so keep an eye on it. Right now, for a healthy market, it is also good we have a pullback, right? But right now, looking at the RSI is 67%, which gives me an indication that we can still go higher on the market. We haven't, in the longest time, we haven't really crossed the fundamental area of our oversold or overbought territory, right, in SPY. So right now we haven't really crossed the 70% zone or the 30% zone down. we're just really consolidating around this area, but while the market is making new highs. Okay, so for any drastic move, I will be looking for the market to push through the 70% zone, and then we can correct in the market, unless there is any news that will really push the market down without the market getting to that 70% on the RSI. RSI means relative strength index. Okay, so with that being said, now let's get into the stocks for the week. Okay, the first stock I'll be dealing with here is going to be Apple. Apple right now, what I see Apple doing is breaking out of this zone. Okay, that is what I see Apple doing right now, and I'm expecting Apple to really continue pushing through this 150. 150 is the resistance, the ultimate resistance for Apple. If Apple can break this 150, we should be all right to continue pushing higher. If you look at the relative strength index, is 64%, which is 65% relatively. So I'm looking for more upside on Apple. So keep an eye on Apple as Apple continue to push to the upside. The next one I'm going to be looking at is Airbnb. Airbnb has been really a good one for the past week, because we pulled back into this support of our 20 and 50 exponential moving average, and then we just bounced right off with increased amount of volume. This is huge. Okay, what I'm looking for now is for price to really push through this 155. If we can get through 155, we'll be all right to push through 160, and then 168 into 170. But overall, just keep in mind that this area, this 160, is a natural resistance, though we don't have much to bargain with here until we get to maybe 162 area, 162, 163.50 or so, 162.50, 163. So this area, okay, which will act as our resistance, right? So if we push through the natural resistance of 160, but overall keep an eye on the 155 area. If we can do good, market does good, and then we'll be looking at that area to push through. So keep an eye on Airbnb. I do like it. I have some call options. I have the 155, 150, so I'm looking for more upside as we gain more volume here coming in, and also 63 64% on RSI. AMC, I did talk about AMC on my stock tweet and Twitter account, because the reason is because so many people were embedded, were really concerned about this move right here. And I said, I don't think AMC is moving higher. News was good, earnings report was all right, but still they're still burning cash, and they still got debt, right? So for AMC right now, we push into this resistance, which is our 20 and 50 EMA, but we couldn't break through the 50, and guess what? We pull back down to retest this area, and then continue to try again. So right now we are in this area right now. If we can push through 35, we should be all right on AMC, but the overall is for price to to close around 350, which $35, which we did on Friday as indicated. So I'm expecting this to just keep consolidating around this area. If there is any bad news, I think we'll pull back down to the $30 spot. $30 spot on AMC is a very critical spot on AMC. So volume is dropping. We need increased amount of volume to come in, just like volume was coming in here and then we pop, right? So you want to be looking for the same pattern of volume to come in. That is what I look for in this trade. Right now we have 44% on AMC on the RSI. The next one I'll be talking about is AMD. So for AMD, I think right now we are breaking out of this downtrend, okay, with our support around the 105, as I said on Twitter and stock tweet. 105 is our support, and this area really held, okay, for good 3 days, 1, 2, and 3, right? And the fourth one, we decide to bounce right off that area, which is a very good continuation pattern for me. Most people were thinking price will pull to this 20, you know, as a means of correction, which yes is understandable, right? But at the same time, if we held this area 3 times, I think there's solid momentum in it to push. But guess what, volume really came in, and then we got this push. I have my 105 and 110 calls on this one, and I'm expecting to bank on Monday on this particular stock. But keep an eye on this area of resistance, which is the 111 112 spot. Okay, if we can break through that area, then we'll push towards the 115. Next one is going to be Boeing. Boeing, right now we did break this downtrend and then push into the 240, rejected the 240, 241, and then bounce, you know, pull lower. Right now we're pulling back to test the breakout spot, but I think, you know, price consolidate around this area and then push higher on Boeing. But for Boeing, keep an eye on this spot right here as we bounce right off this area. 53 RSI, and we're good. Volume hasn't come in yet, so that's the reason why I'm saying, you know, keep an eye on this area right here, this 235, 230, say 231 area, for price to really hold that spot. Baba, with all the Chinese stuff going on, I think, you know, we bounced right off this area. Right now we have this doji, which is an indecision. Okay, so keep an eye on it. I don't want it to do the same stuff here, okay, but maybe we'll do the same stuff here. See how what happened right here at this doji, and then we bounce right off. Right now doji is right here, so this trend we have support here, and I'm expecting it to support here. If it doesn't support here, I think I'm expecting a flush back down. But overall, I think we can support here and then bounce right into this trend, so long as we don't have Chinese issues with regulators. BB, BlackBerry, keep an eye on it, because for me right now, this is my area of support. With this support here, 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th support right now in the current trading days. So keep an eye on it as we bounce right off this area. This area is also our 200 moving average. So price really, in terms of RSI, we haven't really pushed through the 50% mark yet. We've just been consolidating under the 30 and 50%. But if more volume can come in, I think we'll be able to push through. But I would recommend that you take a look at this level. Keep an eye on this 200 moving average level, because the last time we pulled lower to this 200, we bounced right off that area. So keep an eye on it as we, you know, make a decision to bounce right off it. If this 988 area doesn't hold, I think we'll pull into the next support, which is the $9 spot. So keep an eye on BlackBerry. I have some long position that I'm, you know, holding. Okay, if it goes to 0, fine, but still I'm holding this area. I'm just accumulating and waiting for the movement to come in. Baidu, the same thing with that Baba I talked about. Pretty much I'm expecting this area to hold. Okay, if this area doesn't hold, because this is going to define our double bottom. Okay, so if this area doesn't hold, I think we'll push lower, we'll make new lows on Baidu, which is our 52 weeks low. So keep an eye on it as we try to bounce right off this area this coming week. Okay, the stock still showing weakness. Okay, we haven't really break through the 30%, and I'm really looking forward to some price action. Yeah, as John Carter would say with the mastery of trade, he says most of trading involves waiting. First, it involves waiting for a setup. Once the setup occurs, then the professional trader takes it without hesitation, right? The skill comes in waiting for it is to set up and not succumbing to an impulse trade. Then once he or she is in a setup, a trader needs to have the discipline to wait for the exit parameters before or to be hit, and not to cave in and bail out too early. So wait for setup and see if this double bottom is going to hold. BYND, keep an eye on BYND, because why? I think we can support this area and then bounce right off. Maybe just a little bounce, because every time we get to this area, we got here, we bounce right off, we got here, we bounce right off, we got here, and then when we bounce right off. So I'm expecting this to get here and then bounce right off. If it's weak, then we can, try to shake out long positions like they did here. They shook out some long positions, so expect something like that to happen here, with a stop loss right around this 115 area. Okay, next one is going to be CHGG. Keep an eye on CHGG. Okay, right now we are working our way into these moving averages. If we can clear these moving averages, clear 86, I think we'll be able to push into the $90 spot. Clove is one of my long-term holds, so I'm holding this. I'll keep holding this one. Right now, just keep an eye on this area, as this area is acting as our support, which is our trend support. So I expect this area to hold, and as we continue to to find a very beautiful spot to push higher. Volume came in on Thursday, so I'm expecting this area to hold as we continue to consolidate around this spot. I'm expecting some good stuff, some momentum push, just like I'm expecting it on Wish, and I'm also expecting it on BlackBerry as well. Next one is going to be DPZ. Keep an eye on DPZ around this area. I think for the past 3 days, or for the 3 days, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, I think we've just been really consolidating around this 20 exponential moving average. So I'm expecting this area to hold just like we've been holding in the past. So keep an eye on DPZ. Facebook as well, keep an eye on Facebook as we are about to push through this area. So this is the left side of the shoulder, this is the right side. I think we should be able to break through, and that would be good. FUBO as well, keep an eye on FUBO. Right now FUBO is pretty much looking at this area to support. We support the 200 moving average. I think we'll be able to bounce right off. I took some position out of my trade as we got hit this $33, $32.50. I took some position out, and I think I'll be looking for this 200 moving average to hold. If it holds, then I'll be adding that one I took back, took off. HD, keep an eye on HD as we trend hold here. If it doesn't hold, then we'll pull to this 220 moving average. Okay, HOOD, keep an eye on HOOD. This area is our area of support. I think we're bouncing right off this area. I think next level is 55 on HOOD. Some of my calls really expire worthless, so I did lost. I think I posted it on stock tweet and on Twitter. I did lose about $600 on this trade, because I was expecting price to push through this 55, but price didn't push through the 55. I went against my rule and got right out of the money. Okay, all these trades, like all these meme stocks and stuff like that, you want to be buying in the money rather than out of the money, right? Because you never know what the market makers will do. Mona, MRNA, keep an eye on MRNA. I did call MRNA around this area, around the $500 spot. I called it and I said we are really extended, because if you really take a look at this spot, we've been extended in a while. Okay, we're actually in the overbought zone for quite a while. I looked at this area. We were there for quite for all through like 1 week or 5-6 days, and then we pulled lower. Okay, that was the trade. Now we started and we didn't really pull back. There was nothing. News was just all coming in the scanner. And what I did was, around this area, I took some position and said, hey, I think we have to pull down at some point, but we didn't pull down. And I got the 425 or something. I can't remember what strike I got on the put side. And I said, okay, if price get to 500, which is going to be the ultimate spot, then we'll pull back down. And we did get to 500 area. And guess what? Price just really pushed back down, and I was just selling my puts as we push lower. And I said, the next area is for us to get to the 20 exponential moving average, of which we currently have right now. We bounced right off in another attempt, and then got rejected around the $400 spot. So I think this one will try to consolidate around here and move higher, or we just consolidate and just fall into the 350 spot. But ultimately, I just want that 350 spot. Netflix is another one to keep an eye on. Right now, we're just trying to work through these moving averages, because they are really consolidated in one spot. Okay, so it's a very solid spot. See how we bounce right through it and then pull back below it. So keep an eye on it. If we can break through this moving average, I think we'll be all right to continue pushing higher on this one. MVAX is another one to keep an eye on. Right now we are in the resistance spot. The 260 is the resistance spot. So let's see if this area holds. If it doesn't, then I think we'll pull back down. We're really not that extended, and volume, we need volume to define our breakout. And if we break out, then we'll pull back to retest that breakout. If that retest doesn't work, I think we'll pull back down into the 230 spot on this trade. But keep an eye on it. Nvidia is another one to keep an eye on. Nvidia right now, we're bouncing right off the 20 exponential moving average. That's what we're doing. So we can push into the 205 on Nvidia. So keep an eye on Nvidia. Palantir. Palantir is just keep making new highs right here. Right now I'm looking for price to really push above this 24 spot and 25 spot and hold it. If we can push above 25 spot and hold it, I think we'll be able to get back into the 30s. Piton, keep an eye on Piton, as we will support this area. Okay, if this price doesn't support, I think we'll get back to 105. Pinterest, keep an eye on Pinterest, as this area is our defined double bottom. So I'm expecting price to hold around this area. This has been a very crazy move down, because if you look at it, I think this gap right here, we did gap down on Pinterest. So keep an eye on it and see, just to see if price can really support here and make its way back up to 60. If we can make it back up to 60, we'll consolidate a little bit, then I think we'll be able to push into the $70 spot. But for Pinterest, this should be your long-term kind of thinking on Pinterest. PZZA, I think PZZA is extended, so I'll be looking for an opportunity for this to push into the 130 spot, and then I'll be considering some put options that is really closing the money, and then capitalize on that move back down to the 20 moving average. Okay, RSI, keep an eye on RSI. This one is also a beauty. Okay, right now we did close badly because we have this candle right here. This wick is really huge compared to the body. So right now I'm still expecting price to hold this area. If it doesn't hold this area, I think we'll pull down to the $13 and bounce right off from that area. And then let me talk about one more because of time. Is Tesla. The rest I will post it on my Twitter account and StockTweet, so keep an eye on those. Tesla, pretty much, I think we broke out of this area. We haven't retested this area right here, the area that we broke. Let me put that in there. This area is the area we broke. We haven't pulled back to retest this spot. Okay, with that being said, that doesn't mean that Tesla cannot push higher if this trend that I have here holds. If this trend holds, then Tesla will continue to push higher into the 750. The ultimate target here is around, you know, that 750 spot into the 780. Okay, for Tesla, but we need to break this area right now. If we can break this area, which is our ascending triangle spot, then I think we'll be able to push through on Tesla. But this to me is a bullish flag formation. Okay, it's a really bullish setup, so keep an eye on Tesla as we continue to push higher, because RSI is also decent on Tesla. Guys, there you have it, guys. The remaining one, I'm gonna post it. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that, and click on the like button as well. If you find this content useful, email me at tradingsuccessshow@gmail.com. If you have any questions, go ahead and do that. Comment in the comment section below, and the remaining one, I'll post it online, my StockTweet and on Twitter. Have you guys a fantastic weekend, guys. See you guys. Peace and love. Bye bye.